This report from the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development is a weighty analysis of the changes that are taking place throughout the world in the manufacturing and use of computer technology. Although China, with resources used by many Western countries, is the driver for the rapid advances in manufacturing, other developing countries are also embracing the opportunities.
What we have seen, and that's indeed very interesting, is that especially in the trade of ICT goods, which is accounting for about 20% of manufacturing exports, so it's a large portion, that the share of the developing countries in that has been increasing steadily, and in fact has now overtaken the exports of developed countries in terms of ICT goods. And also very interestingly, we looked at who is trading with whom, and we found that what we call the South trade, which is trade among developing countries on ICT goods, is now higher than the trade among rich countries in terms of ICT goods, and also the trade between developed and developing countries. So that's a very new development that has occurred only during the past year.
The charts show the growth in exports by all sectors, with the developing countries in red outstripping the developed economies by 2004. And this has gone hand in hand with employment in the sector, with China now at 35%.
China is the world's largest exporter of ICT goods, so obviously there is a very important component in there. But on the other hand, we wanted to put that in perspective, so we also looked at the role of some of the rich countries, exporters, and in fact you have the US, China, US and Japan are the largest exporters in this area, followed by a number of other Asian countries, developing countries.
And the old economy in India is changing rapidly. Through government policy and education, it's providing rapid growth in the service sector of IT. But now there are others.
There are now other countries that are trying to follow what India has been doing for a number of years. In Asia, for example, China also, which is big on manufacturing but not on services, so it is now also developing its services exports. But then we can also see very interesting developments in smaller economies.
These mobile phones are refurbished in Britain to provide for the increase in use in poorer countries in Africa, but also in Asia.
A mobile phone has been the ICT that has been embraced by the more low-income and poorer parts of the population. And there are so many examples now of how they have helped farmers, poor farmers, fishermen in rural areas to check on market prices, organize their production and distribution in places that are far away, so they don't have to travel there anymore.
The catching up on ICT by developing areas is seen as an inevitable sharing of the fast-growing means of increasing the wealth of nations.